lead me towards success.
We're not adults, so just be there and like listen. I just want someone to yap to, and I just feel like I'll be fine. Like if someone just hears me talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk.
You're doing a really good job, and I don't think I tell you that enough. And I know sometimes we get into it, and it's just hard on both of us. But try to understand me more, and I'll try to do the same.
Listening is a form of love. Find resources to help you support your kids and their emotional well-being at soundidouttogether.org. That's soundidouttogether.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Pivotal.
Truth Nation, stand up and tap in. This is 1017 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
You are watching a master at work.
Truth Nation, get ready for the greatest 60 minutes in radio, giving you his authentic and bold opinions, bringing you all the information, entertainment, and conversations you gotta hear. From local issues to trending topics and headline news, it is time for Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube. Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is your award-winning host, Kyle Wallace.
It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I am your host of Truth to Power, Kyle Wallace. And I'm coming to you live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee, 833-212-1017. That is the Truth Talking text line. That is how you can get in, call in, or text in to today's show. In addition to that, you can always watch and stream us live right here on YouTube. Go to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Make sure you go ahead and click the show title. And then also make sure you give us a like and a subscribe. I have not been on the YouTubes all day. Usually I try to watch I saw Jam with Juice this morning a little bit. But I usually try to watch a little bit of all the shows and support all our shows and give them a like and make sure, we show some love. So appreciate y'all, Truth Nation. Good afternoon to everybody in the YouTube chat. Always love y'all showing so much love. Well, I guess Rhea asked what I wanted to do off the top today. Thank you. Shout out to Rhea Riley on the ones and the twos.
Hello.
So I guess we are going to start off with off the top talking about legacies.
Y'all know what time it is. It's time for Off the Top on Truth to Power. Kyle, let Truth Nation know what you got to get off your chest today.
Well, Truth Nation, I was downstairs listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, and he was talking about relationships and marriage, why black people aren't married, right? And I said, ooh, I'm not going to take that topic, but I was going to share my 2 cents, and I may still share my 2 cents. But during that time, also, I was with DJ Backdoor Ricky, and he said, oh, Hulk Hogan died. And I said, oh, no, not Hulk Hogan. And I thought to myself, Boy, I used to love Hulk Hogan. I'm telling you, I was a huge fan of Hulk Hogan. And there was a point in time for a lot of y'all listening who are older than me and some younger than me in the same age, especially for millennials and Gen Xers, and some of y'all baby boomers as well. Really, I would say baby boomers too. Is Hulk Hogan was larger than life. Like as a kid, my brother and I used to go to Blockbuster, and we used to try to rent VHS tapes from Blockbuster that were like old historical wrestling tapes that they had you watch the old wrestling matches, and they had Mean Gene Okerlund kind of hosting those tapes, and him and I just love watching it. I remember my grandfather was a fan of wrestling, and I remember, obviously I wasn't born for it, but the body slam felt across the world. Any of y'all wrestling fans? Ricky, you a wrestling fan? Rhea, you a wrestling fan? So when I say the body slam heard across, it was DJ Brother Z, the body slam heard across the world with Hulk Hogan. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? When Hulk Hogan slammed Andre the Giant, y'all don't remember that?
That was before my time, but
yeah,
I'm sure I saw it.
It was before all of our times. It was like in the 70s.
Okay, then.
And so like seeing that on tape is Hulk Hogan was larger than life. He was absolutely legendary. And we all loved the song, I am a real American, fight for your... We loved it. We really did. And even, when he did his, y'all know what Hulk Hogan did. He waved his hand and put it on his ear on the right side and the left side. Like we all mimicked and loved Hulk Hogan, the bandana and all. And even when he turned villain, as they say, heel now, they say turned heel. But even when he became a villain, we still loved him when he was with NWO. We loved him. But see, the point of this is that then came social media. And then came things that happened outside of the ring. And Hulk Hogan not only became a villain in my eye with NWO, but he also became a villain outside the ring when he had comments using the N-word. And then his love for Donald Trump. I was at the RNC last year where he came out and the crowd went crazy. And I just like, boy, the luster has went away. And the thing about this Truth Nation is the memories seem to not matter anymore when somebody who you used to admire disappoints you. And so when I found out that Hulk Hogan had died, I'm sure 20 years ago, I would have been sad hearing that news. And, today, it's sad that Hulk Hogan is no longer with us. Had a massive heart attack, it sounds like. Or he went into cardiac arrest at his home. All them Roys might have got to him. But I'm more shocked than I'm actually sad. And I don't know if anybody else felt that as well. And it just made me really think about your legacy and the legacy that you want to leave and how you want to be remembered. And it's so interesting how you can build up your legacy to be such sky-high heights. And then all it takes is one racist action, like utilizing the N-word, to tarnish everything that you built up, to tarnish how you were viewed by so many people. I mean, to me, his legacy is diminished. And his level of importance wasn't what it used to be. And I think the story of Hulk Hogan is one that should be a reminder for many folks, is that you need to be mindful of everything that you do and the choices that you make. Because all it takes is one bad, very awful choice like he made that can completely diminish and ruin your legacy. And so that was where I just wanted to start off the top. And I mean, yes, RIP to Hulk Hogan. But also, I mean, I'm it's sad that he's gone, but I just don't feel it, which is odd. Rhea, you were a Hulk Hogan fan or no?
I was a wrestling fan for a while when I was growing up.
Did you like Hulk Hogan?
I liked Hulk Hogan, The Rock.
Yeah, like if The Rock died, knock on wood, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels, like all them folks, I would probably feel. But do you feel sad today?
After seeing him speak at the RNC, he's been crossed off my list of compassion or empathy.
Yeah, I don't want politics to play that role. It was before that when he used the N-word for me.
That too.
That's when he kind of lost it for me. That's why I wasn't on air at that time, but I said this is how I know that this administration don't give a dang about black folks, because you have a guy who, you have a guy in Hulk Hogan who openly used the N-word, who is, speaking at the event, and then you had a guy in Kid Rock who has also openly use the N-word who was, performing and speaking at the RNC. So, I guess some of y'all like being called niggas or niggers. I guess. Some of y'all don't mind. But that is Off the Top. Again, you can watch and stream us live on YouTube. 1017 The Truth on YouTube. That's 1017 The Truth on YouTube. And when we come back in 3 minutes, I want to dive into this story that I saw. And I want to dive into a story about all white towns. And I want to know if anybody would be opposed to an all white town. So in 3 minutes, there is a fortress for whites being built that has been built and are looking to expand. And I want to see if y'all have a problem with it. 833-212-1017. In 3 minutes, we will talk about the land for the wonderful whites. Keep it locked. It's the Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace right here on 1017 The Truth.
More of Truth to Power is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Truth Nation, are you looking for a fun opportunity to showcase your clothing line, restaurant, nonprofit organization, food truck, or small business? Well, look no further than doing it at our Truth Family Fest on Saturday, August 23rd from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Riverside University High School. We are currently accepting vendor applications for our festival. You don't want to miss out on this great opportunity to promote your business and be part of all the fun. To be a vendor at Truth Family Fest, visit truthfamilyfest.com and sign up today.
I've got to share that I am also a beneficiary of the Old National Bank Empowerment Loan Program. So, Tracy, with that being said, what is the Empowerment Loan Program?
Great. Well, the Empowerment Loan Program is a special purpose loan program that we launched 2 years ago. It has been a success. It was something, again, near and dear to the heart of not only our chairman and CEO, but just our organization as a whole. We work with contractors, consulting firms, retail food operations, daycares. In fact, so far, we've approved $50 million of loans to minority and women-owned businesses within a 2-year period.
And for those that are now leaning more into this conversation, what's the best way to get in contact with you as part of their interest in the Empowerment Loan Program?
I'm going to give you my cell phone number to the listeners. It's 414-687-7393. And if that doesn't work, feel free to reach me at my email, tracy.meeks@oldnational.com.
Tracy Meeks, Senior Vice President, Community Lending Market Executive from Old National Bank.
Escape the city and relax at Lake Lawn Resort in beautiful Delavan, Wisconsin. Enjoy outdoor activities on Delavan Lake. Tee off at the Lakeside Majestic Oaks Golf Course or unwind at the award-winning Calidora Spa. With both indoor and outdoor pools, there's fun for the whole family. Take a cruise on the Lake Lawn Queen. Explore stunning shores and historic landmarks. And enjoy delicious food and drinks on board. Book your stay today at lakelawnresort.com, where everything is better at the lake.
Hey there, did you hear? There are still spots open for Girl Scout Summer Camp 2025.
Whether you're into water activities, arts and crafts, sports and games, exploring nature, or even horseback riding, there's a camp just for you.
Choose from GSY's day camps, overnight camps, community day camps, or Camp Hero.
Bring a friend and get ready for a summer full of adventure, friendship, and leadership.
Register today and let's make this the best summer ever, Girl Scout style.
Hey, Wisconsin, are you feeling summer? Then it's time to feel cheesy. It's time to feel good. July 31st through August 10th, only at the Wisconsin State Fair. Presented by U.S. Cellular.
Happy kids heal faster, and that's why Starlight is dedicated to improving the mental well-being of sick kids across the U.S. Learn how at starlight.org.
Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
This is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
breaking news, and I chose to do it here.
It is breaking news, Truth Nation, as we're going to get into some more conversations, but we have breaking news. And that breaking news is Wisconsin's Democratic Governor Tony Evers will not seek a third term in 2026.
Wow.
That is the breaking news, is that Wisconsin's governor, Tony Evers, has been the elected governor of the state of Wisconsin since 2018 when he unseated incumbent at the time, Scott Walker, will not seek re-election for governor of the state of Wisconsin, and that is huge news as Tony Evers is 73 years old, and I think it's welcoming news. This just came across that Tony Evers, according to a lot of different outlets, whether it's the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, it is also the New York Times, but also just many different places are confirming that Tony Evers will not seek re-election, which for me, as I go off the cuff here, I think that's a good thing. It's definitely a good thing. I'm a fan of Tony Evers. I'm glad that he came around. I thought he was a great candidate when he originally ran. He had won across the state of Wisconsin, previously serving as the state superintendent of Wisconsin. But with that, it showed for me as somebody who despised Scott Walker. I did not like Scott Walker, and it has nothing to do with him being a Republican. It had everything with him to be an opportunist. I am not all anti-all Republicans, but I am anti-opportunist. That's why I wasn't the biggest fan of Mandela Barnes, because I felt like Mandela Barnes was an opportunist. I feel like Cavalier Johnson has some of that in him as well, but not the biggest fans of individuals who are opportunists. That's why Scott Walker to me was trash, because I felt like everything he was doing was to try to appeal on a national scale and not really focus on the state of Wisconsin. And I think the legacy that Tony Evers is going to leave here as the governor of Wisconsin of being somebody that really focused on Wisconsin. But now what that means, Truth Nation, is like I told y'all a couple days ago, is that election time is coming and we need to have our ears open and we need to be figuring out who we want to vote for. That's humongous news, as here in the Milwaukee County, there will be a candidate that I believe that is going to throw his name in the race, and that's an African-American in David Crowley. I do believe David Crowley will announce at some point that he will run for governor. He joined 620 WTMJ a couple months ago, and they asked him about it, and he said, it's something that he would definitely explore if the opportunity presented itself. And so David Crowley overall, as the Milwaukee County executive, has done a phenomenal job as the county executive, and I would say it was hard to follow in the footsteps of Chris Abele, because I thought Chris Abele did a pretty good job, but I will say is that David Crowley has done a good job of being able to negotiate on both sides of the aisle, and he's been able to get stuff done. He doesn't always talk about all the stuff that he's gotten done. Like, for instance, Milwaukee County was responsible for some of the state patrol that were on the freeways and having to pay their salaries, and he was able to work with the state legislators, be able to get some of that cost off of us. So he's definitely a candidate that we can look into. But I will say this, don't just support somebody because they black. This ain't the time, Truth Nation. It's not. Like, I love black folks, and I want to put ourselves in a position to be successful. That's why I was so disappointed when Mandela Barnes ran, and he ran such an awful campaign talking about his dad worked third shift and his mom was a teacher. Great. Like, all right, but what about some of the policies that you and Tony Evers has done? He did not run on some of the successes of Tony Evers. He ultimately lost to Ron Johnson, but again, this is big news that just came down today, that Tony Evers, the current governor of Wisconsin, will not seek re-election in 2026, which, again, I applaud that decision of knowing when to step away, and I wish Joe Biden would have knew to step away at an earlier point in time. But quickly, as I kind of throw the show off just a little bit here, I do want to give y'all some information on the potential candidates that you are going to see step up to try to run. I told you in one, in David Crowley, he's an individual that definitely is going to be thinking about running. And then another candidate that's going to be running is Josh Call. Josh Call is the current Attorney General of the state of Wisconsin. Make sure y'all do y'all research on folks, because the race is going to heat up. Y'all going to hear a lot of commercials coming on 1017 The Truth, I'm sure, once it gets to 2026. But Josh Call is the Wisconsin Attorney General. He's done, again, another guy that's done a phenomenal job as the Attorney General for the state of Wisconsin. He is going to be one. He's a little more boring, but he's very smart, very intelligent. He's done a lot of great things for Wisconsin as the Attorney General, getting us a lot of money. Right now, he's currently suing the administration, the Trump administration, and trying to get that $6 billion of funds for education released to school districts across the state of Wisconsin. And he's been able to win statewide as well. And then another person that is going to be probably throwing their hat in the ring is Sarah Gailuski. Sarah Gailuski is currently works in the office of the Secretary of State for Wisconsin. And so she is one that is more than likely going to end up throwing her hat in the ring as well. She's an ambitious individual, philanthropist, so very, very wealthy. So she can really self-fund her own campaign, and she's been the state Secretary of State of Wisconsin since 2023. So, I mean, again, this is, for me, I think is exciting because, again, you have new, fresh leadership to come in and lead, and I think continue the legacy of Tony Evers. And, again, this is a huge election coming up in a couple, I guess, in a little over a year. But you have a huge election coming up simply because of the fact that this is going to be an opportunity for the Democrats to actually flip the assembly, and then also for the Democrats to keep control in the state. So it's going to be a lot of money pumped in. Our old friend Tim Michels may be running for governor on the Republican side. And then our old friend, what was the guy's name that ran against Tammy Baldwin, the dude who Sherwin said he was part of YMCA? Y'all remember what I'm talking about? Yeah, he ran, I can't remember his name. The dude that came on The Truth and embarrassed himself. Well, Rhea's going to find it. For some reason, I remember Tim Michels, and now I can't remember old boy who came on The Truth. Eric Hovde, good old Eric Hovde. He's considering running for governor as well. But 833-212-1017, that is the breaking news for today, that Tony Evers will not seek re-election. Y'all can let me know how y'all feel about that. If you think that was a good decision. I personally, again, I think it was a great decision for Tony Evers not to seek re-election, and it opens up the field for others. But again, 833-212-1017. Who do y'all want to see run for governor, and do y'all think it was a good thing that he stepped down? I know I was talking to my mom about it a couple weeks ago. She said, "Oh no, Tony needs to run again." I said, "Come on, Mama, I love you, but it's time for some of y'all baby boomers to take a seat back, step back, take a step back." Tony about to be 74 years old. Let that man go on and live the rest of his life, be with his wonderful wife, be with his wonderful family, and not have to deal with the stress of being governor. But again, 833-212-1017. If you have any thoughts or comments about Tony Evers, the breaking news that Governor Tony Evers will not seek re-election for a third term, you can always hit us up on the Truth Talking text line at 833-212-1017. You can call in, text in, or you can also go to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. That is 1017 The Truth on YouTube, and click Truth to Power. Now, back to regularly scheduled programming. Now, I teased on the other side talking about the fact that there is a fortress for whites that is being built. That one is already built, and they're looking to expand their fortress. All right? In Arkansas, the state of Arkansas, there is a whites-only community in the northeastern side, and they're looking to try to grow into the state of Missouri. Now, they call themselves the RTTL, as in the Return to the Land, which they describe themselves as a private membership association, and it's for individuals who have traditional views in European ancestry. Now, Truth Nation, they oppose, obviously, mass immigration. They oppose, intermingling cultures. They oppose, interracial dating. They oppose anything that darkens or takes away the pure white blood that they want to repopulate. Now, in addition to this, they also hate the fact that they feel like America has forced integration, which I find that is true, but I also find it to be interesting when I'll share some additional stats later on. But they're against forced integration, and they reportedly are not welcoming any non-white individuals into their community, any non-Christian individuals, and for dang sure not letting any of them LGBTQ plus folks, they said, into their membership. They want to separate themselves from what they believe is a falling modern society. That's what they want to do. You know what? To each their own, right? If that's something they want to do, then I guess maybe they can do it. And I got a video. Make sure you go to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Go to 1017 The Truth on YouTube, because I have a video from newsky.com. And it's talking about the movements, the great migration of the whites to have their own haven down in Arkansas, in Missouri.
What we've done here is establish a place where we have control over who our neighbors are, and that is just for the sake of preserving, our culture.
And that culture, effectively, we're saying this is a white culture, a whites-only place.
White American culture.
Over the last year and a half, high up in the Ozark Hills in the state of Arkansas, dozens of people have been working hard, leveling the land, building houses. They call it an intentional community based around shared ancestry, a long-winded way of saying something really quite simple.
I think we would generally be called far right, sure.
It's called Return to the Land, and they invited me in.
A lot of people are going to be, why are you making Nazi references?
Right. Well, why wouldn't I?
A seemingly bucolic and sometimes surreal experience. But this is built on a radical modern premise, made possible because of a new political and technological moment. One with strong ties to the most active far-right groups in the US. Instead of taking to the streets, they are building their own, for generations to come.
It's important for me to do this for my ancestors, my friends, my family, my children, my children's children.
But in this southern US state, people who have lived through segregation once fear it is returning.
When you hear things like that, it causes you to be fearful. And you don't know who to trust.
Its founder says he is building a fortress for the white race.
It's a racial association. I kind of want to ask you, after seeing this, do you think what we're doing is immoral?
Do you think what they are doing is immoral? Shout out to news.sky.com for a great article or news story, because I think that is a great question to pose. Do y'all think what they are doing is wrong? 833-21. Some of y'all maybe had your panties in a bunch, or your boxers in a bunch, or your tidy whities in a bunch, but not me. I'm free. Y'all can see on YouTube, I'm shaking. I don't care if they want to have their own space. If the bottom of the barrel of humanity wants to self-segregate themselves, or in this time, self-deport themselves from being part of the larger society, then so be it. So be it. I would rather folks show who they are and show their hate and disdain for other cultures and show the fact that they're ignorant, uneducated individuals than have to associate with them. I want them to have their own schools. I want them to have their own communities. I want them to be far out and remote or nowhere. I want them to do what a lot of these folks have done before, is hook up with one another and walk around with incest. I want them to create their own culture. I don't want them around me. 833-212-1017. Do you have a problem? Do you have an issue with this fortress for the whites in Arkansas? A whites-only community that has been developed in northeastern Arkansas called Return to the Land. It is a private membership association for whites only. 833-212-1017. Do you take exception to this? Do you think it's problematic? That's what I want to know. 833-212-1017. We'll take your calls. I see y'all on the line. Brian, I see you. Miss C, I see you. I see some more calls. I see some texts. We'll take all your calls and texts on the other side, because I want to know if y'all got an issue with the whites building their own communities in America. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace, and we're going to hear from Truth Nation in 3 minutes.
Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Protect your dream home with American Family Insurance, and you can weather any storm. You'll save up to 25% by bundling home, auto, and life. American Family Insurance. Get a quote or find an agent at amfam.com. Products not available in every state. Discounts may not apply to all coverages on an auto or home policy. Discounts do not apply to life insurance policies. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, assigned as operating companies, American Family Life Insurance Company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Summer in Milwaukee is nonstop. Festivals, live music,
and fresh city vibes fill the season you already know. From world-famous cultural celebrations to hidden gem street fairs, every neighborhood is a stage, alive with handcrafted traditions, homegrown talent, and world-class entertainment. Music, flavor, culture, whenever you visit, the Cream City is ready to celebrate. This summer, don't just visit, make sure you experience Milwaukee, the city of festivals.
This is your Versity Blood Center of Wisconsin Community Impact Moment on 1017 The Truth.
What was the life change? You know, we all know it happened and we know things happen and you have bad kidneys, but what was the life change afterwards?
A couple things. Before they even allow you to get on the list, they make you go through a battery of tests. And, you know, a lot of people don't qualify because they're overweight or they have high blood pressure or high cholesterol. So all those things are requirements before you can even get approved to be on the list. So I had...
Wait, you got to be approved to be on the list?
Absolutely.
Wow.
It's interesting. There's a professional athlete or former professional athlete I know right now that has kidney disease and he's on dialysis and he wants to get on the list and he's not accepting all the things you have to do, you know, to get on the list. But yeah, so for me, I spent 30 years in the automobile industry. You know, that's 12, 14-hour days, eating whatever somebody brings you to eat, whatever you run out and grab, McDonald's, whatever. It was never salads and, you know.
Yeah, but that was a choice, right?
It was a choice.
Yeah.
But I had to change all of that to even qualify to be on the list. I had to get down to the weight I had to be at. I had to get my phosphorus under control, my potassium under control.
Wait a minute, even though somebody said they would give you a kidney,
absolutely,
you had to still make yourself eligible?
Absolutely.
Nah, that's okay.
When I mentioned the athlete, his relative actually died, and they wanted to take his organs, and they couldn't because he wasn't qualified. He wasn't on the list. Wow. Yeah, you have to be.
So there are over 100,000 people on that waiting list. So they are very serious.
And how many donors do we have?
And that's the problem. We don't have nearly enough donors.
Wow.
And that's why it's such a critical need. But they are serious about who they're giving that gift of life to because there are so many people who are literally dying waiting for it.
To make an impact by donating blood in your community, visit versity.org today.
This Associated Bank Sports Update on 1017 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Brandon Snide. The Milwaukee Brewers continue to be the hottest team in baseball, beating the Mariners in Game 3 of their 3-game series. This one by a final score of 10-2. The Brewers winning 2 out of 3 and now have a 1-game lead over the Chicago Cubs in the National League Central. Day off today for the Brew Crew. They'll pick things up at American Family Field on Friday afternoon against Miami. And lastly, we'll head over to the NFL as the Green Bay Packers kicked off training camp on Wednesday. Head coach Matt LaFleur discussing what his mindset is going into camp.
Every opportunity that these guys get, they got to earn. Quite frankly, I don't care what you've done in the past. You got to go put in the work and you got to prove it throughout the course of the training camp, the preseason, and you can never take it for granted because things change quickly in this league.
Packers this morning also unveiling a new alternate uniform to honor their 1923 season. This sports update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
It is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Power right here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth, and we're coming to you live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. I'm your host, Kyle Wallace, and you can call in, text in at 833-212-1017, and we're having a conversation about the fact that we here in America have a group of individuals who are looking to build a fortress for whites only in Arkansas, a white-only community in northeastern Arkansas. And what I want to know from y'all, Truth Nation, is do you have a problem with it? Are you upset with it? Are you, like I said, got your panties in a bunch about it? 833-212-1017. 1017. This is the Truth Talk, the text line. You can call in, text in. And Brian, you're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. What are your thoughts on this conversation?
Yeah, I've got no problem with what they're proposing to do. As long as they don't have a problem when blacks want to do the same thing or any other nationality want to do the same thing. I think races should reproduce with their own races, to be honest with you. There is one redeeming factor. They're not going to be able to coin their own money. They're not going to be able to determine what value and what money is. They'll still be subject to the federal government and where money comes from and what is considered value. So if they want to have their own theoretical community for themselves, so be it.
Brian, I'm right there with you. 833-212-1017. So be it. If people want to have their own community, so be it. 833-212-1017. Miss C, what are your thoughts on a whites-only community?
Did you hear what the lady said? Segregation is the repeating of the past. It's redundant. It's a dire situation. It's horrific because the implements that they're going to put in place in the future is going to be devastating. This ain't nothing for you to be saying, well, I don't, that's what they want to do, because you got to look at what's ahead in this particular situation. You got to look at, what they are going to be like in the future. Black persons ride through there. What are they going to do? Jump out with guns and just, be just devastating, in their actions? You got to look at the further intent of this thing.
So you have, Miss C, so you have concerns that they're going to come together and create a militia of group of folks that's going to attack.
I said a militia. What I'm saying is this association is going to, want to populate. It's going to want to generate into other areas. Come on now. It's just not going to be that community only. They're going to be recruiting. That's what I'm saying, for this type of action. And it's going to be the seeing of the past. Segregation against this, segregation against that. It's going to be a rule of white supremacy in another type of way.
Okay, Miss C, I appreciate it. I hear what Miss C is saying, and I get what the fears come from of allowing something like this to happen. I fully understand where the fears come for that. I get it. And I also want to commend the Arkansas Attorney General who has spoken out against this. And his office is reviewing the fact that this is clearly discrimination by creating a community and creating a space that only is for whites only. But I will say this. I'm not offended by this whatsoever because I say bumps them. And if this wasn't FCC regulated, I would say another word, 4-letter word, because of the fact that I could care less about this. Because, again, like I said, these are some of the worst folks in society. And I see y'all on the Truth Talking text line. Some of y'all saying, Daphne said, let them go, LOL. Jim Brown said, no problem with it. All garbage belongs in one heap. And I'm white. Shout out to you, Jim. I'm with you. And again, this ain't anti-white. This is me simply saying, if you want to self-segregate, go ahead and do that. Go ahead and do it. But we as black folks can't make other people love and appreciate us. That's just the fact of the matter. We can't make them do that. And those who want to be part of integration, and those that want to love one another, and those that want to be part of a greater melting pot of what America was built on when it came to immigration, even though I'm sure the melting pot meant melting pot of people from different European descents and not so much melting pots of folks from Asia, Africa, islands coming here when they were talking about a melting pot. But that still is what America is about. And so on top of that, the reason why I don't care about this, and I say, go ahead, do what y'all want to do, is simply because of the fact that this is already done across America anyways. Look around. Look around. Hamilton, look around, look around. I just saw Hamilton in New York. The thing is, we live in a society that is extremely segregated already. These folks are just saying the quiet part out loud. They're saying what a lot of people think anyways. When people move to different communities, they move for school district, they move for other things as well, but a lot of them move because they feel more comfortable living around people that look like them. And matter of fact, when you look around Milwaukee itself, think about some of the country clubs we have here in Milwaukee. They're not very diverse. Think about the country clubs outside of Milwaukee. I can tell you this, they're not diverse. Not a lot of black folks present. And then just last week, I was at a golf outing last week. Had to do my radio show somewhere. I was at a golf outing, and literally, it was me and one other brother there, and the rest were white people. Again, it is the segregation that we already have, so I can't get mad at these white folks saying that they want to segregate themselves from blacks and wants to have their own community. Hell, I heard Dr. Ken earlier this week talking about black people going to move to their own suburb. I would love that. Right here in Milwaukee, I would love that. Me and my friends been talking about doing something like that for years. That would be beautiful. We applauded the black folks down in Georgia that talked about buying land because that's something we want to do. So if they want to do it, and obviously the black folks did it with better intentions on giving ourselves opportunities to truly prosper and have our own communities versus them doing it based off of hate down there in Arkansas. But hell, if they want to do it, they can do it. Look at your own friends group. Go to a wedding. Rhea, you've been to a lot of weddings, but Rhea has a very diverse friends group. When you go to these weddings, Rhea, and I know when I go to these weddings, you just recently went to a wedding a couple weeks ago.
I went to my niece's.
And you went to another one as well with one of your friends. Oh, no, your friend just went to that wedding.
Yeah.
When you go to a lot of these weddings, Rhea, when you go to a wedding, do you see a lot of diversity at these weddings?
Ooh, depends on the person.
It depends on the person. I will tell you this. Go to a wedding in America. You will find, look at wedding pictures online in America. What you will find is that weddings are some of the most segregated things that you can go to. Whether it's a black wedding or a white wedding. Ain't a lot of diversity at these weddings, Rhea. Go ahead, Google wedding photos, wedding photographers. Just around more. Go look at wedding photos. Go ahead, do it, Rhea. What you'll see is if a white man and a white woman getting married, you'll see a white groomsman and white bridesmaids. This is not a very integrated place here in America. And then on top of that, we talk about the fact that, they're going to get their own space. Well, have y'all looked in Waukesha County? Waukesha County itself is 85% white. And that borders Milwaukee to the west. What you seeing, Rhea?
I'm seeing a few black females in some parties.
With some white folks?
But it's a lot of white folks.
Okay.
A few black bridesmaids.
Okay, all
with the
right.
white people.
That's good. They value diversity. Ozaukee County, 89% white, north of Milwaukee. Washington County, north of Milwaukee as well, 90% white. These are three of the biggest counties in the state of Wisconsin that border Milwaukee that are significantly white. So we are already separated, and we even know in the city of Milwaukee we're already segregated as well. Go to the north side, you're going to see a lot of black folks. Go to the south side, first you're going to hit Hispanic folks, and you go to the deeper south side, that's when you're going to meet a lot of white folks. So I personally don't see the problem with this. We can't have a conversation about us wanting our own and get mad when white folks want their own. Let them have their own. I'm so serious. Let them have it on. And their own. And you know what? Martin on the talking text line, 833-212-1017, he said, burn it down like they did Black Wall Street. I am not condoning that. I did not read that fully. And do not burn down any towns. We should not do that. But 833-212-1017, Al in Milwaukee, desegregation in this whites-only community. What are your thoughts?
So what? I think the only reason that a lot of black people getting upset because black people always want to belong, and they didn't get their open welcome. Well, we can go. Y'all can have your own black communities. All y'all do is have pride. But for some reason, it goes back, I want to belong to the whites. Okay, so what? Let them have their own community. Okay, big deal. Y'all can have your own community, too. Y'all can have that and then something even better.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But it starts at the root of the foundation. So what? So what? Knock yourself out. Marinette, Wisconsin. They got 1 or 2 black people. Janesville, 1, 2 black. It's this thing with our people. They always get upset if they don't get an invite. Everybody ain't for you.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Have a great day.
You too. You too. That's my whole thing. I have no issue with it. It doesn't mean I want to kick it with these folks. It doesn't believe I think these folks are morally right. It doesn't mean that I believe in what these white folks are trying to do in Arkansas, and now they're trying to move the community Missouri. It just means I don't care. I really don't. I don't see a problem. If somebody wanted to start an all-white community here in Wisconsin, I would say go right ahead. You might as well move to the already all-white communities we got sprinkled all across here. And that's a whole nother thing, is the fact that moving into these white communities, you're not going to be accepted anyways. That's what makes it so hard to want to move outside of the borders of Milwaukee. It's because of the level of acceptance that you have to face, or the level of acceptance that your children will run into. I remember when we played high school football. I went to Whitefish Bay. We played high school football, and in our conference was the Port Washington Pirates. And I remember we went out there to play Port Washington, which is about 30 minutes north of where our school was. And there was this mixed light-skinned boy there, and he was the only black kid on the roster. And I never forget, he called one of our star defensive players, it was freshman year, he called him the N-word. And I just remember, he didn't say, he said, Now, Rhea, Riley, I don't know about you, but if a black person, especially a mixed one, who lived in a white community, he was the only one, and he called you the ER and not the A, would you be offended or be like, what's wrong with this brother?
Oh, and he's mixed?
Yes.
Yeah, he got to get out.
Something is wrong with that brother. Because one thing to say, because, you stepped on my foot versus, that's like, wait a minute now. That sounded a little different.
And he's mixed saying this? That's crazy.
I mean, when you grow up in certain areas, it happens like that. Matter of fact, one of our co-hosts, Serena Beecher, who used to be one of our co-hosts, Serena, shout out to Serena, she grew up in the area. She said, oh, yeah, that word got thrown around like candy at a dang parade. So, again, I find it to be quite interesting, and I just want to know, again, 833-212-1017, are you offended by the thought of a whites-only community? Because there are a lot of people on social media who are up in arms, having a frenzy, and offended by this. And to me, I said, who cares? 833-212-1017. We'll continue to take your calls. We'll take your texts. We will also look on the 1017 Truth on YouTube. You can watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. But keep it locked. We will continue this conversation on the other side.
You are listening to Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app. Catch Truth to Power every weekday from noon to 1 p.m.
From the biggest stars to the greatest moments. Behind the Bucks is Bucks history like you've never heard it before. It's all on Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the new ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
Why did Old National Bank decide to create this program?
You know, it was something that was near and dear to the heart of our chairman and CEO, Jim Bryant. Jim wanted us to do more in the African American communities, more with minority-owned businesses. So he approached Roland Shelton, who was my boss in Evansville, Indiana, and said, Roland, we need to do more. We need to create a program that's going to allow individuals, minority-owned businesses, women-owned businesses to access capital a lot better than traditionally we've been doing. And so we created the Empowerment Loan Program 2 years ago.
And for those that are now leaning more into this conversation, what's the best way to get in contact with you as part of their interest in the Empowerment Loan Program?
I'm going to give you my cell phone number to the listeners. It's 414-687-7393. And if that doesn't work, feel free to reach me at my email, tracy.meeks@oldnational.com.
Tracy Meeks, Senior Vice President, Community Lending Market Executive from Old National Bank.
Strong moms build strong families. Outreach is Healthy Starts, Healthy Hearts empowers parents with tools for healthy pregnancies, heart smart habits, and thriving kids. Join us on Thursday, July 31st from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. to learn about prenatal care, well child visits, and more. The event is free at our Capitol Drive location and open to all families. Call 414-727-6320 to register today. That's 414-727-6320. Outreach. Healthcare with Heart.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
They treated me like family.
They're actually people that you can depend on.
They made me feel seen. They really treated me like I was a part of their family, a part of their team.
They ask how you're doing, how you're feeling.
They're just so welcoming and so sweet and kind.
It's like family, caring about another member of the family.
If you've been injured, it costs you nothing to see if Gruber Law Offices can help.
Ready to join the fun? With Girl Scouts Extended Year membership from Girl Scouts,
you can sign up by June 30th and get up to 18 months of adventure through September 30th, 2026.
Girls starting kindergarten or first grade in 2025 will also receive 3 Get Ready with Girl Scouts activity books,
featuring games, crafts, and stories the whole family will love, for free. Plus, you'll even get a special gift from the Girl Scouts. Join today and get ready to grow, explore, and shine with Girl Scouts.
You are listening to Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
1, 2, 3, ho! It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. And again, we're having a conversation talking about the fact that there are some folks in Arkansas, northeastern Arkansas, and the Ozarks of Arkansas, who have created their own safe haven for whites only. And again, people were mad and upset about this safe haven for whites only when I said, y'all, whites only still exists right here in America. We self-segregate ourselves. The city of Milwaukee is known to be one of the most segregated cities across this country. When you look at the suburbs that surround Milwaukee County, a lot of those suburbs are majority white. When you look at the birthday parties for the kids, when you look at the schools as well across this country and in Wisconsin, in Milwaukee for sure, there's already segregation. When you look at your neighbors in a lot of the neighborhoods that you are in here in Milwaukee, your neighbors look like you. Now, I will say this. I grew up in a house where my neighbors were white. Damn. I think about it now. All 3 of them are white. But some of us don't have that. 833-212-1017. Anonymous. Didn't want to share their name, but you have a comment on segregation and socializing.
Yes, I do. Socializing is when you can be conservative and hang out with the white people and act conservative. I ain't gonna say act like them. As far as segregation, I'm training my 5-year-old. He are going to be the ones to change what we in as far as segregation. So, if it ain't a hard stand, ironclad stand when we offer these people something, and they don't give it to us, it ain't going to happen. And it hadn't happened. My auntie is 74 years old, and it hadn't happened yet. So my thing is, for stepping away from apartheid, is start our own nation. You know, I don't mean to sound racist, but that's the only way we're going to even get.
I mean, I don't even think we need to start our own nation, but I think we need to support each other a lot more. And so thank you so much for the call. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
You think that would work?
I think that there's limits and there's pitfalls potentially to it, to the fact that at the end of the day that we do have spending power and we are part of the economic engine, which is America. But you're absolutely right. There are some barriers that we would have to overcome in order for us to completely thrive. But I do think there's a possibility for black people to come together and truly buy from themselves. You see it all the time. Like, we don't have the money that the Jewish community has, but let me tell you something. Jewish community supports one another strongly. Right. And even in the Hispanic community, a lot of them support one another. The Asian, specifically the Hmong community, support one another. These folks that own these gas stations, what they do is they come here, they buy a gas station, and they utilize that to help build wealth, to bring more people over. See, they have a formula of how they support and build up their community. And I just feel like here in Milwaukee, not everywhere, here in Milwaukee, we're a lot of bit disjointed, and we can't come together overall as a whole. But 833-212-1017. Carolyn in Milwaukee, you're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. What are your thoughts on this conversation?
I'm going to just be quick. The sauces, you're inviting trouble.
Okay.
Plain and simple.
How so?
Now for people to say, oh, this is going to be a white-only community. Okay, then what if I'm the person in that community and I'm black? What about the taxes? They're going to use the taxes from the outside world? So, yeah, you create the problem. You're setting it up to eventually be Ku Klux Klan kind of stuff going on.
All right. Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you. And again, Ku Klux Klan ain't went nowhere. There's still a lot of racist folks that's in this country, but I appreciate the dialogue, and I also appreciate the overall conversation that we had today, Truth Nation. And lastly, again, 833-212-1017 on the Truth Talking text line. Amanda K said, I have no problem with them segregating themselves, but there will be a snowball effect spreading nationwide. I agree with Miss C. And then the Angels, the Advocate said, Chinese people have Chinatown, Mexicans have Southside, Cesar Chavez Drive, and African Americans have a Black Wall Street. Let them blacks should have a new safe haven as well. I feel y'all. Again, I do feel some of the concerns that people have, but I'm not too concerned about it, right? Because you already have so many racist individuals. I'd rather have somebody be racist and stick to themselves. Because if they start forming militias and they start attacking black folks, then that's a problem. Rhea, what's your take on this?
I think if we were to segregate again, it would be better, but maybe not now for black people.
Oh, wow. You think black people should segregate from everybody?
Yeah. We used to thrive. I say used to. Now everyone's acting a fool, but yeah, I'd say go back to it.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. I don't know about self-segregating, but I do believe that we need to, economically, we do need to be more, direct with where we want to put our funds and how we want to support one another. Because I feel like we do have the power to support one another. It's not consistent enough. And that goes on both ends when it comes to a business, making sure that you're holding yourself to high standards of how you're going to have customer service, but then also quality. But then in addition to that, for consumers to be able to consistently go ahead and support. We saw what we were able to do with the boycott of Target. And so now we need to go ahead and take that boycott and reinvest our funds into the black community in many different ways and support one another. But this has been Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. The Tory Lowe Show is up next. He's back. I'm glad my boy Tory was back yesterday. I'm glad he's back today. Tomorrow I'll be joined by Kayla Lewis Allen on Truth to Power. Peace out. I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Hello, my name is Cindy, and I'm a rising sophomore and a proud Tiger at Riverside University High School.